Come on, Cam. We don't have time for fooling around. The show's already late. Let's go.
Oh yeah, this is Sci-Fi Snob, and this is the Toplofty Lounge. We're in for a smooth show for you today. Oh yeah, baby. In the 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, baby. Yeah, here we go. In 11, 10, 9. Oh yeah, baby. Here we come. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Top Lofty Lounge, episode 81. Conversations for the Elevated. Welcome to all my fellow snobs. I am your host, Science Fiction Snob. This week on the program, it might be a little bit of a shorter show. We're going to talk about tools. We're going to talk about some miscellaneous stuff. We're going to talk a bit about Planet of the Apes. Cam has a theory that he wants to share. Groundbreaking, never before heard of. I'm sure it'll knock your socks off theory. Don't let me build it up too much. But before we get into that, let me introduce my co-host. He is the Cornelius to my Taylor. He made me say that. It's Cam. Say hello, Cam.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Yes. All right. Is there anything before we start into the show? Is there anything you want to say?
Well, yes, I would like
to deny something, or
I would like to make a statement that
Statement?
I have been
Okay.
forbidden to talk about a subject that's timely,
What?
and that we had on the show before. I've been threatened with legal action or other punishment if I brought it up. So you will all be denied news
All
on
right.
this subject.
Put a 1 in the chat if you want Cam to talk about his thing that he wants to talk about without any legal ramifications or whatever. Put a 1 in the chat. And if there's all one, if there's ones, 2 if you don't. 1's in the chat, and we'll talk about it. At the appropriate time.
In the meantime,
Yes.
On a more
there's some,
serious note,
yeah, we start with let's start with news.
yeah,
Yes.
it's sadly it's been reported that Rob Reiner and his wife have been found deceased. There are reports that they have been murdered.
Really?
Yeah,
Is that what
that's
it was?
not. I'm not sure that's as confirmed, but it seems that reports of their deaths are confirmed at least. But it's been reported there is some foul play in this. They were
Involved?
found in their homes, in their home, dead. So, for those not familiar, Rob Reiner was probably best known for being on All in the Family as Meathead, Gloria's husband, and he had quite a significant directing career as well. He A Few Good Men was, and then Spinal Tap, and others.
Yeah,
so
Spinal Tap. Great.
he had quite a career behind the camera. He was a very political guy. We don't need to get into that, but he had a very notable career, and of course, this kind of horrific thing, if the early reports turn out to be true, is no one deserves anything like that. It's just horrible, and we just thought we would note it, given that we are the channel that happens to be on right now. So
That's right. Bringing you breaking news. I saw that there was 2 found dead at his house, but I didn't know it was him. I wasn't aware
yeah,
that it was foul play or any of that stuff.
it kind of came across in bits
He's
and pieces,
He's involved in the Princess Bride. Oh, he was the director for that, right? The Princess Bride. Cam, do you remember?
You know what? I think you're right. I forgot about that. But
It's not me. It's Weatherman. That's correct, of course. But,
I should have known.
I didn't. I got that from the chat.
Anyway,
chat
a lot. This has been a bad weekend for violence across the world. So we don't need to get into that, but my God, let's pray for sanity in this world.
Yes. Well, now, what have you? Let me ask my. He's the director of Princess Bride. Yeah, I think that's. He's pretty involved. Yeah. Now, Cam, what about sci-fi snobbery? What did you do to increase your snob queue this week?
I don't even know. This week has been a blur of craziness. So, but nothing that I can think of. Given that I've been whipped like a misbehaving donkey to get shorts out every day, and the other various things I do for this channel.
I am a vile and evil and taskmaster, right? I'm just demanding, so demanding.
Well, people can judge that on their own, depending. It's noticing the content that's on the channel.
You don't agree with that? No.
I don't want to dig a hole for myself. I can't. Better left unsaid. In other news, though, and you're aware of this, of course. Diablo 4 season 11 started this week at a weird time at 8:30 Pacific on Thursday evening or something. So
yeah, that's weird. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, but that's going. I've played a bit of that. I got 2 characters to level 60.
You got both of them to level 60 already? Oh, geez.
Yeah,
I'm way behind.
I mean, it should be going a lot faster. It seemed like a slog to me, but I'm trying to get things rolling into the the real game there. So,
well, I am playing a necromancer like I was ordered to by the chat. It's not that bad. Running around with my little group of skeletons, they're always attacking things and stuff, and I just sort of sit back and go, "Oh, my pretties, go kill!"
Yes,
it's kind of evil, but oh well.
Yeah, at a certain level, I've never played really high level necromancer, but at a certain level, it seems like a very easy, relaxing class to play.
Well, that's good. That fits with me because I'm very lazy. So,
and if people haven't heard, and the I don't know who comes to this channel for Diablo news, but the Paladin class has been pre-released. If you pre-order the next expansion, you can play the Paladin class now, which Paladin class goes back to Diablo 2, was a very popular class at the time. They didn't have one in Diablo 3. They had a Crusader, which was similar. But so a lot of people are excited about the return of that, and that's one of the classes that I've started.
And Cam's Paladin is very pretty. So,
well, yeah,
I'm sure it's prettier now. That's level 60. I didn't see that, but I'm at level 30 something. So I'm
pathetic.
Part of it. Well, I'm slow.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to plays Diablo 4, hit me up on Discord, and maybe we'll bring in another person.
We talked about streaming it to see what middle-aged guys how they play video games poorly, but I guess we didn't get around to that. So,
yeah. Well, if anybody wants to join on that, we could bring them in. So many ideas fall on the floor. Now, what about me? Now, this week I was fairly busy. I finally got the daughter to see Endgame, so we finished off the series.
All right.
And she thought it was, she thought it was good. But you know what? The first thing she said after, right? And remember, my daughter's 13, right? She said, "Oh, it's over. Now what do I have to look forward to?
Nothing.
I said
Absolutely nothing.
I said, welcome to life.
Yeah.
You've learned something. But it's
Good.
actually a good it's a good life lesson because, sometimes the journey is more important than, the actual, getting to the end. And she was just, so last week after we saw, or whenever it was, we had seen Infinity War. She's like, oh, I got to see how it ends. I got to say, no, you're going to wait. I made her wait. So now she's like, oh, it's over now.
Well, it's good that this sounds like you.
And there's not many good movies afterwards, right? Like a lot of them suck. So
yeah, sounds like you've made some headway here in educating the child.
A little bit. We saw Captain Marvel on Friday, and then Endgame yesterday. So I mentioned she's interested in these various creative things, and writing being one of them. And I said, okay, look, let's watch this movie. And, why is this movie suck? Because it doesn't, suck openly, right? Like the special effects are good, and there's heroes, people flying around, right? And all the usual stuff, things blowing up, right? And, I had to talk to her about the hero's journey. I'm like, where's the hero's journey? What is the hero's journey? And she already knows this. She's like, oh, well, is that there? Did she ever fail? No, she just, she was captured, but it's not like she was, worn down and like, oh, she gave up and then she had to pull herself up from, no, they captured her and she's like, I'm going to escape. And then she escapes. Like, it's not much of a, right? There's no real journey.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think she knows who George R. R. Martin is.
Lucky for her.
Yeah. There's no movies after Endgame except fan flicks. We're gonna see she's seen the first Spider-Man. She hasn't seen the other two, which are, they happen afterwards because we've been following the timeline. I think we followed it pretty carefully. A couple movies we switched up because we couldn't, get them at the right time. But those ones didn't matter. There's two Spider-Mans, and I mean she likes the animated Spider-Man. It's pretty good as well. So she's looking forward to those two, and then I might show her a few of the ones in the middle. And I got the Eternals. I'm going to say, okay, watch this movie. Okay, what do you think? She's like, that was boring. That was a boring movie. So hopefully she can learn what not to do as well as what to do. So yeah, that's it. I got 3 science fiction novels that I'm working on, reading, not working. I got Devon Erickson's book. I keep hearing people talk about that. I've got one of Neil Asher's book that I've been sitting on for a month. I'm supposed to be reading, and another one from Ian M. Banks that I'm supposed to be doing. So it's just got to get into those, get those done.
You mean modern legend Mr. Neil Asher came on your dumb show and gave you his precious time, you haven't read his newest book?
No, it's not his newest book that I'm reading.
Oh,
it's one of the older ones. Cam, he's got 40 books. I mean,
yeah, get working there, buddy.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, and I've read I haven't read the newest one because it's way up in the timeline, and I read a bunch of them out of order, so I wanted to start back and go back to the beginning and reread them to get back in the right order. I read some here and there, and it took me forever to figure out how they fit together in the timeline, which one was first and second and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, I finally figured it out. Yeah, and I understand it now. But I've read a lot. I've read a number of his books, so I felt I knew enough to interview him from that. But anyway, I think we should mention. Should I mention my New Year's resolution earlier?
Sure.
Now, even it's a little early. All right. So everyone in the chat, I'm sure you'll appreciate this, and I know Cam will appreciate it as well. My New Year's resolution is to have our topics for the show ready before, at least a week before. So with that in mind, I'm going to give a little quick, we'll do it at the end too, but quick look ahead. I think the next show we're going to do is our movie night. Cam, does that make sense? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Been sitting on that for a while. Movie night. And then after that, it'll be the last show of the year. So we're going to do something about, Cam and I will come out and say, hey, what's the best science fiction, related media that we saw for the year, and maybe the future. Also, things we're looking forward to in the next year. However, if there's too much of that for both, we might split that up into 2 shows, and then we'll look at doing we've talked about this before, the DC AU. We're going to look at the DC animated universe, and it's kind of going to become a bit of a regular thing. Every once in a while, we'll do. I think we do like 3 movies. Cam, we'll like review 3 of them, talk about 3 of them. You think that's enough, or too many, or per show?
That's probably okay.
Probably okay. So I think the first one we're going to do. One of the ones will be Crisis on 2 Earths, right? You've seen that one?
Yes.
And I like that one too. And there's a couple others that are in there that I've suggested to Cam. He's got to watch them. But I'll let Cam sort of pick the next few. But I had a couple suggestions, like
it's
Under the Red.
It's more about access to them.
Yeah, getting access to them. Under the Red Hood, Red Sun's pretty good. I recently saw Batman Hush. Batman Mask of the Phantasm has been out in the news lately. I grabbed Batman the Doom That Came to Gotham as well. I haven't seen that one yet. I don't remember that one. Some of these I've seen, like I'm watching Hush and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this, but it's like years ago, so I gotta rewatch it. But something like that. So in the near future, there'll be a DCAU, and it'll kind of do a regular thing whenever we every once in a while. We can sort it out, get it together. We'll look at a couple of the DC AU movies, and we will get into the timeline ones, the Justice League ones that sort of all fit together. I think, right? Does that make good sense?
Sure.
The best superhero movies out there are the DC AU, better than Marvel, with some exceptions. Some Marvel ones aren't very good, but generally speaking, the DC AU ones I think are better quality overall, than Marvel. I don't know if you agree or not, but
better than the Marvel, the live action ones. You're saying?
Yeah. My view is that the DCAU movies, in overall, if you look at the entirety of them, the overall quality of them is better than the Marvel live action movies.
Okay, from what I've seen, I can see that as a viable statement.
Yeah, and that's and part of it. I mean, there's some very great Marvel live action movies, but sometimes the quality dips and goes up and down. And generally speaking, the DCAU ones are all good to great. Yeah. So that's my view.
Okay.
But we can talk about that.
Yep. All right. Shall we get into it?
Shall we get into it? Okay. So everyone was in the chat. There was lots of ones in the chat. So I think everyone wants to talk before we do tools. They want you to talk. Oh no, we should do tools first, and then you'll talk about your what you want to talk about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Let's do tools. All right. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. I have it in the wrong. I probably have it in the wrong. All right. I got it on the wrong slide again. All right. Start right here.
Okay. We don't need to spend a ton of time on this because if people watch the shorts, So this is.
But if they don't, they want to know. People like tools. Come on.
Well,
give the people what they want.
Right. This is day 8 to 14 of the Wear a Tools 2025 Advent Calendar. So we'll just talk about them in a little more detail. You can see from the top here, we've got 3 full-size drivers. Well, really, I guess 5 full-size drivers if you want to think of it that way. The stand is not part of this. That was the stand from what, day 3 or 4, I think it was. But
you got the stand, you got another stand later. But
right. Yeah. But that's a spoiler, actually.
Sorry. Forget I said that.
So just a quick view we can see on the top here. We've got a number 1 posi drive, which is they have these nicely labeled. So if you have them in a tool belt or something, you can see them. So the white kind of outline lettering, that's for posi drive. And then we have a standard number 2 Phillips.
Okay, but what does posi drive mean? What does that mean?
Well, okay, posi drive is a separate type of fastener head, essentially. So
Oh, really?
at
Okay.
first glance it looks like a Phillips head, but it actually has the shape of it is different, and it actually has how a Phillips head is basically a cross. There's four flanges or four slots,
Yes.
or two slots crossing, I guess if you want to think of it that way. And a positive drive has an intermediate, smaller slot between each of the main slots. So it's really got 8 points of contact.
Okay, so why would anybody do that? Why would they make a
Well,
screw like that? Or
well,
is it special for something? Or
okay. Theory wise, which I might have mentioned this before, there are entirely too many different drive systems in the world, which, if you're into miniature toolkits, you will realize real quick that that's a real pain in the butt to have. But there are reasons for some different ones, because they're, in the old days, you basically had a flathead screwdriver, right? Just a single
right?
slot. And then, Phillips kind of became very popular, and then Robertson, which is a square drive. I think those are older ones. I'm not an expert on the history of different drive types, but those are older ones. Phillips drive,
I
you think,
hate
oh,
I hate the square head. Stupid.
do you really? I like the square head way better than Phillips. Phillips sucks.
Really?
Phillips is
Doesn't
like
the
the
cross
absolute
work
worst.
better? Like, aren't you turning
No.
the square and it's always wearing out, and you're like, ugh, ugh.
No, the square, in my experience, is
Is
way
much better?
better than the Phillips. The Phillips is designed to cam out, um, to
Oh,
avoid
really?
over tightening.
Mm.
And I think Henry Ford, the legend has it that Henry Ford was a big proponent of that, for
Oh,
those
the
reasons
Phillips.
in manufacturing. But
No, that makes
you know,
sense. You don't want to over tighten
uh,
if in a car or
it,
something.
it might be the worst. I hate it. I can't stand it.
You know,
Um,
just thinking about that. I mean, most of my screws and stuff are all like when you're using your power drill. Most of them are square heads, right? Like,
well, it depends on
it
where you
seems
are.
like,
I think that square heads are big in Canada.
yeah, I
Uh,
seem to get like they seem to be very popular whenever I'm like, oh, I got to get some wood screws. They're all mostly square heads. I
Yeah,
mean, not
wood
all.
screws often do use square or Robertson drives, which, again, one of my favorite screws of all time is a stainless steel screw, and with a Robertson drive, and I absolutely love those. I wish I could buy them in bulk. Um,
Oh,
but
hold on. Hate to change the subject. Have you seen? There is this thing. Oh, I wonder if I can find it. It's flying around. Um, uh, X Twitter. It is something they're doing in Europe, which is they are using these giant screws to screw into the ground, and that is instead of pouring a foundation. Have you seen that?
no, like
As,
how big are we talking here?
well, they're like 5 feet long, big, giant. They look like and you just
Are
you
they getting into like bedrock, or for
no,
real?
they just go into the ground. And you
Hmm.
screw them into the ground, and then they're ready to go. You don't have to pour concrete. You don't have to do footings, none of that stuff. You screw them into the ground, and then you ready to go. Put whatever you want on top of them, instead of doing footings and stuff. Yeah, it's big in Europe, and the guys are saying, "Oh, it's going to come to America. It's easy. You can unscrew them and take them away in the end." I mean, you need a special. They got a special tool that is, that's like like the size of a small
Yeah,
snowblower type thing that you can't
sure.
screw them in yourself or anything.
Well,
But
I can't imagine that those are going to would be as good as a concrete footing long term.
say that they are, yeah. I mean,
Well, we'll
who
see.
knows? All right, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
mean, because that's going to be highly dependent on your soil type, and I mean, all kinds of issues there. But interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
it doesn't seem to worry about soil type, and they, I don't know if they were working to bedrock. They're not
well,
that.
if you
But
run
anyway,
across
I'll look
that,
and see if I can find it.
send it to me. Yeah. Anyway, so well, I'll get into this, but just let me
Derailing
run
my
through.
own show. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a 25 Torx, which is the green, 25 there. And then we have a relatively small, I have these all in front of me here. A relatively small insulated 1,000 volt insulated flathead. I imagine this would be used maybe for like a panel kind of thing. Not like your dealing with thermostat or something like that, it's relatively small, relatively fine tip. And then we have the one that's with the 5,5, 5.5, but in the Western hemisphere, 5.5 millimeter flathead stubby. And then we've got another precision there. I forget what size it was exactly. And then we have this little yellow, and to the right, we've got this little screw retainer. So maybe we can go to the next slide.
Next slide.
Yeah. Okay. So this is just showing it from a little bit different angle, so you can kind of see those there. And then we can go to the final slide, and I'll just talk a bit more about it and wrap this up. What on earth is a 5.5? Yeah, just in the chat, 5.5 is what that would be to us. 5.5 millimeter. Okay, so this, we've got them laid out slightly differently. So I've got the Torx bit, and since we were talking about that, the Torx bit is one of these other drive types, and of course people are probably familiar with hex drives or Allen wrenches, Allen screws. If you've ever had an IKEA furniture, or furniture from pretty much anywhere, a lot of those use hexes for some reason, which I like. Those were back in the 80s. Those were used on bicycles and things, and are still used on bicycles today. I like those a lot, but they have some downsides too. And then you've got metric and imperial or SAE sizes for that, which makes no sense at all. Even if you have either a 6 millimeter, let's say a 6 millimeter and a quarter-inch bolt, which those are roughly the same size. There's no reason you have to have a matching metric or imperial hex driver head. You obviously, you don't want to have the same size for all different size screws, but for a range, they could cut out so many of these and standardize on that. And I'm not talking about the fastener itself. I'm talking about just the driver for it. And then the other thing, and I mentioned that because the first one here with the kind of the black tip you can see there, that's a Torx 25, and a Torx drive or a star drive, they call it a lot of times, is an inside star, essentially. Well, the tool looks like a star, and then the fastener head, of course, would be a female version of it. So let's see, it is six vanes on that, I believe, and the Torx was designed to allow for more torque and less camming out and such. And automobiles use a lot of Torx drive at this point, and I think they go from 1 to whatever size. I mean, it's more commonly they go by 5s. You have for most fasteners, you have like a 10, 15, 20, 25. There's a 27 that's used sometimes, but then 30, 35, 40, 45, etc. But the 10, 15, 20, 25 range is pretty common. And so this one's a 25. Now, again, I have a lot of bits, for this. I don't have a lot of dedicated Torx drivers. I did get a set, a long time ago, because they're used on knives and multi-tools. And they're also, kind of, at one time they were considered kind of like a security bit, because it wasn't, so they weren't all that common. They do have security bit versions of them as well, which is basically they have a pin in the head of the screw, you'd have to have a hole in that. Death Angel Shell, you're asking? Yeah, it's a regular. This one's just a regular Torx. And it's a good point, because it's like, I mean, if I had my choice, I would never want a regular one. I would always want the security one, because the security one works in the regular one too. I guess it's a little bit weaker, probably because there's less material in the middle of it. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit about that, but it's nice for things like if you're doing a lot of work on things like knives regularly, you would want to have a dedicated tool. And just to that point, the second one we have there is a Phillips, a dedicated standard Phillips drive. Now this one, the Wera, has these laser etched tips, which if you look closely, it's got little tiny ridges at the very tip, and that is designed specifically to help prevent it stripping out. And it works pretty well. oddly enough, this week I had a call to help someone put together some furniture that was put together improperly by someone else first. Um, and he had some recessed holes and things, and I was having trouble getting in there with, I just grabbed my go bag toolkit, and I have more bit drivers rather than dedicated tools because again, it's a small kit. So still a good idea to have these standard Phillips where you can get in recessed holes easier. And I was having trouble with them stripping out. So this tool would have been exactly what I needed for that job. The third one there from the left is again that pos drive. And you asked, well, what's a pos drive for? Why would anybody want it? Well, basically, it's an improved Phillips kind of thing. It's and the only place that I've seen it is on furniture, like hinges and things for cabinets,
Right.
things like that.
You don't want to over torque them, and like if you're doing something into wood that's soft or it would split or something like that.
Well, that's the
Careful. Is
thing.
that
This
something?
this will torque more. It will take more torque than the other one. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why they use them in that, but that's the only place I've encountered them. Again, please just choose one. Get rid of Phillips and go to Drive if that's the case. I don't care what they eliminate. Just please eliminate something because it's a lot of crazy stuff. You got to carry around in a tool bag and it gets pretty heavy. And then
can you just see Cam with his, we need some tools, and he grabs his go, Cam, to the rescue. He grabs his bag and he's like, Captain Tool.
You're saying that like it's a bad thing.
No, I'm not. I can just see it. It would be awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Never mind.
Outpost Nerd is mentioning in the chat about Rob Reiner. Yeah, we had.
Yeah. I was going to mention that when you were finished.
Yeah, we did talk about that at the head of the show. Yeah, it's tragic.
Yeah, we might as well do it now. We mentioned this, and you saying that more is this more news? His son killed.
Yeah, that's the report going around.
That's the report. Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how confirmed that is. It might end up being true, but it is being reported. And maybe it's confirmed since we've been on here. Maybe Outpost Nerd has got to update. After.
Well, it has been 36 minutes. So.
Okay. Okay, so the next one there, the yellow one, that's the color code essentially they have to show that is a insulated, for 1,000 volts. So it's there's a break, you just have the tip there that's the steel, and then it goes into a fully non-conductive plastic to prevent you from getting shocked, which I have before. Gotten shocked by some bad wiring in an old home that I lived in. And then we've got the stubby. Which sometimes you need that. I have other stubby drivers, with it, with multi bits and things. So I probably won't ever use this one, but sometimes it's nice to have a dedicated tool to get into a space you can't with other things. And then the precision driver there on the end. This is the second flathead precision that we've got in this. And again, this would be for, small electronics or something of that nature. And then, again, the screw retainer. So it slides onto any number of these different ones. And the little yellow portion at the front there helps retain the screw head. So, obviously if you're trying to get a screw somewhere down that's vertical and it will, fall off sometimes and such. So that's where now, well, spoiler, there's another one of these in this advent calendar, and I'm not sure what the difference between the two is. So I'm going to have to look into that and I'll report back. Anyway, there we go. That was kind of a long segment because we got off on drive types and everything, but that was week 2 of the advent calendar. I hope everyone is enjoying the shorts. We've tapered off these last couple days, really lost views. Some of the views were pretty good actually early on, and they've kind of fell off the map, but maybe they'll pick up next week.
Watch the shorts.
Yep. Okay, there we go.
Hope a little bit. They've tapered off a little bit, but
haven't bored everyone to death with this.
Yeah. All right. Okay, before we move on, I'm going to see if this works. Let's bring in do the screens here. Not Rob Reiner. My That's it. Here we go. Here's the giant screws. So this is what they look like, and these are the ones I saw.
They look fake.
This looks like the top. You can barely see the top here, but they look fake.
Seriously, this looks like a joke.
It looks fake. I guess that's how they would look on the side of it. This is them, and this is the one I saw with the. That's the head that they had. They had some sort of weird looking. It wasn't like a regular head.
I don't know, man.
Is a good better look at the.
That does not look. That does not look.
So.
No, the one that has the the wide flanges at the bottom, I could see something more like that maybe. But that the threads on those are really small. It's like that doesn't strike me as being something that's going to hold in soil particularly well. Now these other ones you're showing that's got bigger ones, like maybe, but
well, I think they might use different ones for depending on the soil. I'm not sure. Let me just let's see. Let me switch this.
This sounds like some kind of environmental crap.
Let me try this. Add a different one. I got another screen here. It's a why here we go. This might be a little better. Why Utah builders are ditching concrete footings for ground screws. So here's a little bit more,
because they're going to be gone in the 10 years when it starts to sink your house, and they won't care. That's why.
Here's a look at different ones here. Galvanized steel or stainless steel for corrosion resistance, pre-engineered with load ratings, installed with torque monitoring to ensure stability, compatible with framing brackets or post supports. Oh, okay.
I could see the advantage
something like that.
Wanting to attach to them, and think about it. If you can go in a little farther, a little less, you can level those nicely. And I suppose you can make the argument.
Well, here are the bonuses right here.
Okay.
Faster installation, no waiting on weather, minimal site disturbance, and stronger in difficult soil. When should you use screws? So maybe they're not all the time. Decks on sloped or rocky terrain, cabin decks or porches where concrete delivery is impossible.
Okay. Go down temporary or modular builds. This is
because you can take them out.
This is not a long-term.
Well, no, I don't think it. I think you. I don't think it. You can use them on that. I think you can use it on permanent ones too.
Temporary or modular builds. Said it right there.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't use it on other things. I mean, maybe it could be.
All right. All right. Mark my words.
Soil type. Each screw is selected based on soil type, frost depth, expected vertical and lateral loads, torque resistance to embedding depth.
The city of Venice is built on wood pounded into the shallow, swampy, ocean, I guess. So, of course, that's sinking also. So, anyway, okay.
Well, how about this? Ground screws versus concrete footings. Install time is lower. Cure time, none. Winter install, yes. Soil disturbance, minimal, high. Movability, easy. Economic or eco impact, load, capacity, engineered versus variable. Slope ready.
Okay.
Are they strong enough? Yes, in many cases, they're stronger than traditional methods. Load testing up to 100,000 pounds, varied by type. Resistance to frost heave and soil movement.
Are you getting paid for this? What is this about?
I don't know. I'm just looking at it.
All right, let's move on.
I'm trying to prove that I'm right, even though I don't really know. I hadn't seen this before today. I'm like, yeah, this is. It's just I have to prove you wrong.
I'm sure it does have some applications.
When not to use ground screws. Okay, here we go. Shallow zones where minimal depth is needed, extremely dense or boulder-filled ground that resists penetration. I guess you can't use it in bedrock or something. Large commercial footings or multi-ton point loads. 90% of outdoor structures in Utah. This is about Utah. All right. Okay. That's good enough.
I'll take the concrete. All right.
Cam likes concrete. Shame on you. Why do you hate Mother Earth?
Full disclosure, for my woodshed, I did use these things driven into the ground to retain like a 4x4. So yeah, I did opt for a temporary kind of thing for that, but it's a woodshed. So.
Yeah, it's a woodshed. Yeah. So Q2 is on my side. And Outpost Nerd says they're BS. All right. Okay. Yeah.
I would consider them for something like a shed, though.
Yeah. I have it. Maybe I should do that. I've got a little shed that I'm.
Because footings suck. I'll tell you that. That's for damn sure. Is putting in footings is garbage.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
That's right. We hate Mother Earth. Whatever she do is to try to kill us.
That's true.
Okay, Cam, now you're there. You can talk about your thing you wanted to talk about that the chat wants you to mention. We're building it up. You guys are going to be, hopefully you're not too disappointed.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just this week, because Snob's always like, what are we doing this week? Okay, so
That's not true.
I suggested, let me finish, please, sir. Digital Circus, the Amazing Digital Circus episode 7 came out on Friday, and we had discussed the show previously. So I thought, we want to talk about that, like we talk about Space King or whatever. And Snob's like, no, I don't want to talk about that. Why were you just
okay? I'll do my rebuttal after you're done.
Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to say, hey, if you're interested in that show, you can go and see it. And I think this one did get a little more sci-fi-ish. It was,
did it?
Yeah, it was kind of like there were some interesting things that happened.
Okay, well, I'm a little behind. I watched up to episode 4, and this is 7 or 6?
7.
This is 7. So I think I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes. I got to catch up. I thought I was 2 episodes behind before this, so I thought I had watched up to 4, and then 5 and 6, and this is now 7.
I think there's only 2 left.
Yeah. So, okay. So you don't want to talk more about it? You just want to?
No, because you
want to mention that it came out.
Yeah,
so I hadn't seen it.
If the our loyal viewers would like to talk about it in a future episode, you can let us know in the chat or in the comments, and we will Snob will consider it and then do the wrong thing.
That's right.
Also, just again, another side note. The final episode of My Hero Academia came on this past. When was it? Really? It was yesterday, I guess. So yeah, final episode of the anime.
All right. Now, just to defend my honor, first of all, I'm always, hey Cam, what do you think about we should do this? And he's like, I don't care. You pick the thing. I go, what topic do you think we should do? You pick it. I'm not doing anything work. You figure it out. So I'm here struggling with myself trying to figure all this stuff out. And he did say, hey, another episode of Digital Circus came out this week. I'm like, oh, okay. And that's all he said. He didn't say we should do it on the show. It should be. Apparently, I am supposed to be a mind reader and figure out that when Cam says, when he has a thought that goes
exactly. No. What are you talking about? I told you this. It's like, what are you talking about? Mind reading. I brought it up.
You said the show came out. You didn't say, hey, let's do it on the show. You just said, it came out, and I'm supposed to figure out that
what I have to deal with this guy.
See what I have. What you have to deal with. Anyway, I mean, I'd be happy to if you make it'd be great if you made a suggestion for a show to do. I'd be like, oh yay! I don't have to figure out every show myself. That'd be awesome. Anyway, nobody wants to hear us, but behind the scenes fighting. Oh, I have a big piece of. I promised I wouldn't spill the beans about this news.
Don't.
No.
If you want to tease it, don't say what it is. If you want
I won't say what it is, but I'll just say that we might have something big.
Might
have something big coming up. Big. Not maybe not for this show, for another show, but it might be big. Yeah. But we won't hear anything after Christmas. Maybe you'll hear something. I wasn't even going to say that, but It's so big I can't keep it in. Oh, all right. That's
Yeah.
what she said.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now let's get to that's it. Nothing else about Digital Circus other than I should watch it.
Yeah, I can understand that it's not for everybody. It's but it is kind of a mystery what's going on with it. 2 episodes left of that. 2 episodes.
Listen, I've been trying to, speaking about, this is, you're talking about anime. I've been trying to get into more anime because my older daughter likes it. And I got One Piece. I was at the library and they have like, I check out what comes into the library very regularly. And all of a sudden I see they have like 10 DVDs of One Piece. And I'm like, and I'm like, holy geez, where do those come from? Where do they get those from? And when do they come in and stuff? So I'm like, take the first one. I'm like, all right, well, I'll check it out, right? It's anime, and she's interested in that stuff. And then I'm like, well, it's about pirates, and I put it on, and I'm like, oh, I fall asleep.
I
damn it!
I put on the first episode. I'm like,
yeah, I fell asleep, and then the DVD goes. I wake up, and it's like episode 4. What the heck?
I know a lot of people.
Like, what the hell?
A lot of people really love it, so it might get really good. I just couldn't.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, JT's here for the drama, and we've given you that. Giving you that in spades, I hope. Right on. Yeah. Okay. So are we ready to go on?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's going to be a short show.
I got Diablo 4 to play. Let's get this over with.
Oh, come on. Jeez. My Hero Academia finished. Yeah, that's what Cam was saying. Just finished. I should try watch that one. My daughter likes that one. I saw Death Note. That was pretty good. Like I saw the first bunch of those episodes. That was good. It was getting good. Like that's good storytelling there. Dark and weird, but I think. Oh, what else I had to watch the my kids love it though. The one where they go in the dungeon, they eat the monsters. What's it called? It's like, have you seen that one, Cam? It's like D&D. It's just like playing D&D, except like instead of a movie, a show or TV show about D&D where they go kill, half the show is they cook the monsters afterwards and eat them, and the dwarf guy with them is all like, oh yeah, you got to salt them with a little of this, and these ones are really good. No, you got to prepare like this. No, don't eat that, you'll get sick, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, what the hell
Yeah,
is this?
that is
I guess Japanese people love cooking shows, and people keep telling me, oh yeah, kids like cooking. Japanese boys like cooking shows. This is why they mix D&D with cooking. It's like the best. It's the 2 best things together. And I was like, okay, whatever. Anyway, yeah, I'm trying to get into that One Piece, but I've been failing. All right, so let's go Planet of the Apes. Ready?
Okay.
I just put in some.
Now this is an example.
Pictures.
Oh, great. I mentioned to him, I'm like, oh, hey, I got this little thought about Planet of the Apes, and he jumped on that for a topic. So, I guess it's that's not mind reading, then I guess in that case. So anyway.
That's true, I guess. But you said, hey, we should do this as a topic. But that kind of
what else do I talk to you about than topics on this show? It's not like, we're discussing finance or something.
Do you want to talk about finance?
No.
What do you think about Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Delicious in Dungeon. That's the name of that's it. You got it right.
That sounds like a blast. I
should
check that out.
What, Delicious in Dungeon? It's on Netflix.
Okay.
And you can watch it. You can steal it too, because I think we stole it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's it's kind of like it. I'm watching it. It's like the original D&D, right? Like they're going around. I mean, somewhat. But they're going down. They're trying to get this guy, the main guy. His sister is some sort of magic user cleric, and she got eaten by a dragon. So they're trying to get the dragon
revenge.
They're trying to get down there and save her before she gets fully digested. They think that she's still alive for a couple weeks or something like that. So they're going through the dungeon.
Is that Sarlacc?
It's sort of like it, I guess. I don't know. But they're eating stuff on the way and meeting other people, and weird creatures and stuff. I mean, it's not D&D because it's not pulled exactly. Like the monsters are not, there's similarities. I'm sure you'd recognize some similarities, but they're not pulled directly from it, so it's not that. But yeah. Anyway, Delicious in Dungeon. That's what it's called. All right, check it out. My kid likes it. She likes anime stuff. All right. Okay, so now I have. You see these slides? I got a couple pictures. I just threw some pictures in fun, but I do have the timeline halfway through the slides. These 7 slides.
Okay, well, again, I don't know if this is like original or someone has already thought of this or whatever. Just my random thoughts on it. So, and Snob decided to jump on that random thought for a topic. So I will just begin. In thinking about, you have the original 5 movies, and then you have the TV show, which is kind of, that's not part of the discussion I'm going to have here. And then you have the reboot movie, the Tim Burton one, which is also not part of this. And then you have the trilogy plus 1 of the new ones, starting with the James Franco movie. What was it? I can't remember the name of it. Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
so
here, we'll put it up. Here we go. Here's the in order. All right, let me just move us over to the side. There you go.
Okay.
And the dates that came out.
So at one point, this is a while back, I don't remember where I was. I was looking up something on Planet of the Apes, and it mentioned that I think it was in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, they had some reference to the spaceship. What was the name of the spaceship in the original? The Icarus, right? Taylor's ship, the Icarus. They had it like it was in a newscast or something in the background. It was like, the Icarus.
In Escape from Planet of the Apes?
No, in the original Planet of the Apes, the ship that they arrived on was called the Icarus. Right. And in the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the 2011 movie, they had some reference to it. It was like I said, on a newscast, like in the background or something like that. They mentioned the Icarus. Now the timeline doesn't work out for that. But I started thinking about, that's what got me started on this. It's like, well, how do can these merge with each other? And it's like, well, no, they don't really merge. And we know from the original series of 5 movies that, in the 3rd movie, the Cornelius and Zira go back in time to shortly after when Taylor left, which I think was 1972. They came
73,
back.
73, yeah. They go back to 73.
Yeah, they come back to 73, right? Right. And then it continues through there, and to 19, I think Conquest of the Planet of the Apes takes place in 1991. And then Battle for the Planet of the Apes is, ahead of that somewhere. But so I started thinking about how these can resolve. And it's like, well, okay, you got a time loop, and it's like, then you add the new ones in here and we see what happens. You basically the first intelligent apes come from experimentation with medications for like Alzheimer treatment is how they were testing it on chimps, and that's how Caesar became intelligent. Now we know in the original series that Caesar is Cornelius and Zira's child. They came back in time, and Caesar was born in modern day at the time, 1973. And then he went on to through the conquest of the Planet of the Apes and Battle for the Planet of the Apes. So this is also named Caesar. This other ape that's in the presumably I think that movie was set a little ahead of time, in like 20, a few years ahead of 2011. It was 2016 or something, I think, when it was set. And so I'm thinking about how you resolve these things, if these can fit. And then I said, well, a time loop obviously doesn't work because there's contradictions. But I said, well, a time spiral can work. And again, I'm not sure if I'm hitting the proper sci-fi terms for this. But a time spiral is where I'm thinking you come back and you change something, and then it goes to a different future. You're still going around in this loop, but it's changed. So it's in a third dimension. It's different than just a 2-dimensional loop. So that's why I call it a spiral. So do you want me to just go into my theory, or you got anything to say about that?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll let you dig your grave.
Okay, so again, I'm just musing on this and how it works. So my theory is that if you start out that the first event in the timeline would be the Icarus leaving Earth. So if we because we know that happens. Yeah, that's the first Planet of the Apes movie. Where they leave from, again, 1972, I think it is, and then they end up 2,000 years roughly in the future. So they leave from 1972, and so my theory is at that point, so they're gone. They're time dilating through the universe, and quickly breaking away from any real contact with Earth. Now that's a little. The second movie kind of brings that into question, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so my theory is that they leave in 1972, and Earth proceeds normally, how we would, with the exception of the fact that they're sending out a long range ship that isn't in our real world, but in the world of the Planet of the Apes, that occurs, and then things proceed, and then the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the one with James Franco, occurs. In the time that it would, which again the 20 teens, I think it is, where he does these experiments and then produces this intelligent ape, which then leads into and it morphs into this virus that ends up killing off most of humanity,
Right.
which is the second movie. You see that kind of shown at the end of the first movie that's going to be happening.
Yeah.
But by the end of the first movie, you have intelligent apes and you have humanity set to be dying off. And because in the original movies, we don't really know what happened to humans to end
Well,
them.
they suggest it's nuclear war, but
Well, yeah, that did happen, but why they became unintelligent, they seem to de-evolve. We don't
right.
really have a good explanation for. So,
And remember that the dogs and cats.
yeah, that comes up in the fourth movie of the original series. They don't mention that in the new series, do they? The dogs and cats thing?
I haven't seen all of them. I haven't seen Kingdom.
Yeah, I
I
haven't.
don't think I've seen War. I think I saw Dawn, but it was a while ago.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen the last one either. Actually, the last two I haven't seen. I've just read about them, so I might be missing a fine point. Anyway, so then the second movie of the new ones, the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This is where we're now in the future, 10 years, I believe, from the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which I think is set in. It's like right about now, 2026 or something. I think, yeah, 2026 is when it's set. So so the first one is set in 2016, and this one is in 2026. So this is where humanity is basically wiped out, and the apes think that the humans are all dead at the beginning of the movie. They haven't seen them for 10 years essentially. Then they run into them, and they find that they're kind of there, but they're all separated. Have small enclaves of survivors, kind of thing, and they're basically they're trying to keep things going by using a hydroelectric dam to keep providing power to them, and that's why they come into conflict with the apes again. And so that happens, and there's this it's very similar to, well, I shouldn't say it's a little bit like Battle for the Planet of the Apes, the original, but where you've got these humans and ape societies that are coexisting, not together, but then they end up fighting each other. And at the end of that one, you see it's like, well, there's going to be, it's leading to worse things. There's going to be a war. And then in the next movie, War for the Planet of the Apes, is basically that, is you've got, this is still Caesar, the original intelligent ape, and, all of the other apes along with him. This is 2 years later in 2028, where after you had this initial battle with the small thing, there is a large, they contact other human. Once they got the power going and were able to use their radios and things, they contacted this other group. So, okay, that's what this movie's about, basically. There is, a militaristic group. And then in this movie, you see that the simian flu, that had killed most people off, has now mutated. And it's causing humans to devolve mentally. Okay, so now then this is where the thing gets interesting to me is now we've got the reason explained to us in the first movie, right? The original one with Charlton Heston. What happened? So this movie adds this piece in here that not only were they wiped out, allowing apes to be dominant, but why they are less intelligent than they used to be. Let me pause there and see if you have any comments on that so far.
No.
Okay.
You're right. And Weatherman's, the virus it mutates and usually becomes weaker, so it doesn't kill the humans, but it just makes them dumb, right?
Yeah. Now,
no, I think you're
okay. So to me, it's like, oh, okay. So this is actually explaining the first movie. How some unexplained things from the first movie, and then so the last movie, which I didn't see, is set significantly in the future. I think it's 300 years in the future, and in which the apes are dominant and continue to be advanced. I don't know that much about this movie, but the point is they're continuing this bit that there are humans that remain and have some level of technology and such. And in the third movie, there was the mention to the Alpha Omega group or whatever, and that links in some way to the second of the original movies, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, in which the mutated humans in that are the Alpha Omega bomb or whatever.
Yeah, they're worshiping a doomsday device,
right? And
I think that's my favorite one. That movie.
Yeah, I think it's my least favorite one. But in any case, so the point is, all of these new movies kind of are it workable that the humans could end up as we see them in the second movie in Beneath the Planet of the Apes. That they mutated and all this crazy stuff. 2,000 years later, but it's enough that they still they're not unintelligent like most of the other humans. So in my opinion, all of these movies provide for that possibility. So, okay. So then those movies, the modern movies, are a believable source for the place where Charlton Heston finds himself in the future, right? You could see how it leads to that, because this movie is still 300 years afterwards. What's the year that would be? So that would be 23, 28 or something like that. When that's still a couple hundred years before the lawgiver, apparently, that we hear referred to in the original movies, which was about 1,200 years before the original Planet of the Apes. I know I'm throwing out a lot of numbers here, but 800 years after the modern day, roughly. So now we go to that. So, and then we have the original Planet of the Apes movie, where we have these low intelligence, primitive humans, and the advanced apes in terms of intelligence, not technology. Their technology is quite low. And then, you have this. I guess the piece that's missing is I don't think that there's a nuclear exchange, right? But there is the possibility of that, because it basically, we're only 300 years in the future from modern day with the end of these modern movies. And we do have this whole thing about this, these advanced humans that have things like satellite communications and such, and thus, likely nuclear weapons, or it's possible at least. So some point in the future of this, because we don't know exactly when this nuclear exchange happened in the original movies. We just know that it did. Where you see the Statue of Liberty and everything. So in advance of the modern movies, there could be this nuclear war or whatever level it was that destroyed whatever there was left of humanity, because again, that's 500 years before the lawgiver, and maybe the apes were pushed back at some point too, because again, we don't see them in very modern. They're relatively primitive in the original series in terms of technology. So this whatever might have happened between those times could bomb the apes back as well. Okay. Anything to note at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, are you finished, or you want to
No, well, that's the first half essentially.
first half?
Yeah,
Okay.
the second half I think is shorter though. It's just basically how it ties together.
Now I got a few points on fill in what you're saying. So let me put this up here. Does this work? Okay. So I did a little digging again. So this is a Screen Rant article, and it's basically how the new planet connects with the original timeline explained by theory that is put in that somebody put up. So this is very
okay.
So there's a lot of we can go through it, but maybe I'll let you finish off,
Okay.
Cam.
Yeah.
There's a couple of read this over, and I'll go through it a little bit. But some of the things that you were sort of questioning and stuff. Number one, the apes might be wrong. They don't know what exactly happened because it's been 1,000 years. They can easily make mistakes. You know how history is. So there's some sort of combination of a virus and perhaps a bomb. But in the War for the Planet of the Apes, the humans are blasting each other in that battle, and they're because they're trying to keep the virus. They're trying to keep them getting infected with the virus.
Yeah.
So the idea being that that movie happens all in California, but presumably, according to this this article here by this person, suggests that just because it's going on in California, it's probably going on somewhere else. It's probably going on in New York, and even if nuclear weapons are not being used, then there's still lots of various large conventional warheads going off, which could cause shifts and potentially make pieces of New York covered in dust and dirt, and eventually where we find them in the original movies below ground and stuff like that. So all that's happening, and would an ape know if it was a nuclear weapon or not, or even the people 2,000 years later? So maybe nuclear weapons were used, maybe they weren't. This would all get mushed up during the whole discussion of it. And even in these new movies, there's some of the things where Caesar has said, which I think in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, there's some things that Caesar said, some laws and ideas he gave out, which are already, a few hundred years later, are already been perverted and not understood the same way. So, I think that kind of explains some of the things that you're talking about. There is a battle. It was mostly it's between humans trying to stop things, and that could account for some of the destruction, even if it's not nuclear weapons, or nuclear weapons could have been used, right? Both those things could happen, and it could, a nuclear weapon could have been used in Europe or Russia or somewhere else, and that could have caused environmental damage, but not complete devastation. So there's lots of excuses, different ways here. So your theory is basically what very similar to what they're talking about here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then
I'm going to drop it in the chat if anybody wants to look at it as well.
Okay. So then what I'm saying is, after the fourth movie here of the modern movies, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, we have about 500 years between when the lawgiver, kind of reestablishes ape society, or it's in the original movies they're talking about 1,200 years before the lawgiver. So that's when it's kind of it's the basic
800 years before our time, right?
800 years after our time.
After our time, yes.
Which would be 500 years after the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes modern movie.
Yes.
So there's plenty of time in there, and I'm saying that generally the setup is allows for all this to happen. And in fact, there are hints that some of these things could happen. Like I said, some of the like the virus and everything, that explains why the humans are in the state they're in.
Yeah.
And okay, so now you jump forward, and so 500 years in the future of the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, that's where I'm saying Taylor arrives, is in the future of these modern movies. And then the event.
Taylor would still be. Well, Taylor's still 2,000 years from our time, so it would be 1,200 years from.
No, I'm yeah. I'm not making a statement about the time he arrives.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Changing. So still, 2,000 years from when he originally left, which is approximately 1,700 years from the last movie of the modern series.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, meaning so it's 500 years till the lawgiver, and then 1,200 years more to when Taylor arrives. So then all that happens, and then the interesting part is then the first movie happens, and we all know what happens there. But then the second movie is the one where we start to get these hints again, because now you find these mutated humans, and this is where they're saying, okay, they're survivors of a nuclear holocaust, which again we don't see exactly what that is, but the modern movie timeline certainly allows for something to happen in there still. And so I'm saying that what we haven't seen yet between the modern end of the modern movies and this is whatever leads to this, the bomb worshiping weirdos, the mutants and the mental powers and the worshiping the bomb and all that stuff. So yeah. I'm saying that throughout all this time, they somehow progressed and ended up, still being there, from that original timeline. And then, through that movie, spoilers, they blow everything up again, in a worse way. And that's when Cornelius and Zira and the other guy, Milo, they escape and end up coming, because of this explosion, they end up going into a time warp back into the past, into 1973, after Taylor had left. Now, the hiccup in here that I don't really understand is that Brent, the protagonist from the second movie, that they sent a mission to find out what happened with Taylor's crew, right? And it's like, well, how would they even know? Well, it's like, it's not like they...
Yeah, they're supposed to be 700 years.
Yeah, right. So it doesn't make sense. Why they would...
I thought his mission was originally just a follow-up mission.
Yeah,
how we said sometimes we'll send one and then send in a follow-up mission a couple years later and then another.
I think in the movie they mentioned that he was sent to search for Taylor, and maybe you're right. Maybe it is just a follow-up mission. I don't know.
I assume that it was a follow-up mission, but I think you're right, and they did send. We got to find out what Taylor. Well, it'd be 700 years before you know what Taylor.
Well, I think that would stretch
originally
credulity there, right? Because we find out in the first movie that, well, I never realized when I was a kid, but that the only reason that they came back to Earth, because they didn't think they were on Earth, they thought they were on some other planet. Is because it automatically came back because the other, the woman astronauts, she died, because the malfunction in her hibernation chamber. That's what sent them back.
I thought it was some sort of wormhole time loop they went through, and
no, that's my understanding of it, is that it's because of that malfunction is why they were routed back, even though the time dilation thing wouldn't. I mean, what are you going to do? Go back to what? It's not like they're going to fix it at that point or something. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me either, but apparently that's the reason. So them following them back. So I can't explain that. I can't explain when that happened. But what we do know what happened in the movie is that there were these other humans and they blew them up, and then Cornelius' era ended up back in 1973. Okay, so this is where the spiral happens. Is they've come back to 1973. Now they're intelligent apes there. They have Caesar, which and as it turns out, he survives, even though they thought they had killed him and the apes in the third movie. But they survive, and Ricardo Montalban, raises the Caesar as as part of his circus, hiding the fact that he's an intelligent ape. And in the intervening time between the third and fourth movie, as Caesar grows up, this is when the things with the dog and cats and all that stuff. So now we're in the Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, the fourth movie of the original series. And they have, the dogs and cats are all dead. And then people took apes into their homes originally as pets. And then they started treating them basically as slaves, right? That's where we find ourselves in the fourth movie. And then Caesar is intelligent And now this is sorry, I want to get the timer. I think it's 1991 is when Conquest of the Planet of the Apes takes place. Yeah, so the dogs and cats were wiped out in 1983, and then the governments and such, turned into something else. Now, okay, so this is divergent, right? This is not what happened in the original timeline. Not what happened in the modern movie timeline. Let me put it that way, which I'm claiming is the original timeline in this spiral. So now all this stuff happened, maybe as a result of Cornelius and Zira coming back. We don't know what they changed exactly. But what we do know in this, by the time, 19, this is, this craziness has happened 10 years later. And then by 1991, which is when, Caesar is essentially grown and starts his revolution, things are kind of like a fascist, city states and such. So the world is far different from our world, which is what the modern Planet of the Apes resembles, right? I mean, it starts out, it's not strongly different from our world at all, with the exception that apparently they had a long range spacecraft launch at some point. So Caesar has his revolution, and and that that's what basically ends up at the end of the fourth movie. That's what happens. He basically overthrows human power, at least locally. And then by the fifth movie, now we're, let's see, what year is it in this one? I think it's another 10 or 12 years later. Yeah, it's I don't somewhat, relatively small within the time period of, Caesar's still alive here. And
well, they're it's 2670 is where the lawgiver is explaining.
Yeah, that's like
what happened.
Right. Right. That's showing what. Now, okay, so that establishes lawgiver in this part of the spiral, right? But it goes back to, that's not when the most of it takes place. It's
right. He's explaining what's happened
maybe around the year 2000 or something.
Yeah, it's like the 21st century.
Right. So anyway,
it's the famous no, right?
Right. Well, that's the second one, actually. That's the human saying no to the apes. Whereas in the fourth movie, that was a big thing. They had that, all the humans always yelling no at the apes, right? Was in the fourth movie. And then, this one includes, humans are not allowed to say no to apes by the fifth movie. The humans are second-class citizens, but they're still intelligent in here. So again, there is no nothing, no disease that killed humans. There was something that killed all the dogs and cats, but not humans. And there's no indication that humans are regressing in intelligence at this point. And now this is still before the modern timeline movies took place, but there weren't intelligent apes in the year 2000 in the original timeline either. There were, that came about around 2016. So things are clearly different, right? This is not the same timeline anymore. Things have changed. And anyway, so the events of this, the fifth movie all take place, but now you get the indication of these other mutated humans, and that they're, that you have basically a war that happens between the remaining humans and apes, and then it ends, going back to the lawgiver, which is and it shows the humans and apes together, being taught by the lawgiver. Now, there's a lot of time between that point, the 2670, and when the original Planet of the Apes takes place, 38, whatever, another, that 1200 years, difference between the lawgiver and that. But, if the lawgiver is, someone would have had to mess with those sacred texts, right, in between that time. So my suggestion, long story short, very long story, is that this is now a separate timeline, and that this fifth movie of the original because of, if you're trying to merge these things, because of the new series, this is no longer necessarily leading to that same future anymore. And I'm saying that the original feature that Taylor ended up in is a result of the modern movie timeline. And then Cornelius and Zira going back in time have put us on a new timeline. Where there is no regression of humans necessarily that's going to happen. Now, I haven't thought about the other movie the TV show, because there are still intelligent humans in that version. So
yeah, you can't put too much.
Well, but maybe you could argue that maybe this fifth movie now in the second loop of the time spiral leads to the TV show. I'm not sure, but I'd have to look. But do you see what I'm saying? Is that the two things can't merge without having a time loop that changes. Because obviously the end of this in the around the year 2000 does not lead to the James Franco thing. That ship has already sailed. And now we have intelligent apes that are here a few decades earlier. Fully intelligent apes.
Yeah. So I mean, this Screen Rant article basically is what you're saying. It's suggesting that the timeline starts with the Franco movies, and they are showing what happens up to the Planet of the Apes. And then when if you just look at the article, so the current Planet of the Apes movies are building up towards the original '68 film, and then at that point, a lot of the things that the conflicts are explained away by this here. It was slowly forgotten over time, exactly what happened, which is, fairly usual. And then the original Planet of the Movie Apes will happen. And then Cornelius and Zira, when they come back in time, they change the past.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to wipe out the Franco and these prequel movies that explain how Planet of the Apes came up, and they're going to be replaced by the ones in the original Planet of the Apes, which would escape from conquest and battle for. So they'll be similar. They'll replace them. Does that make sense?
Okay, so wait a minute. They're saying. Okay, so they have a similar idea to me. So they're saying that Cornelius and Zira coming back lead to what?
They change right here on the screen. Cornelius changes how Planet of the Apes became to be, right?
Yes.
And that's when you'll go back to the original movies, and that will be the story of how the Planet of the Apes came to be. So it's a changing of the timeline, a butterfly effect, that kind of thing. Like Weatherman says here, butterfly effect.
Yeah,
it changes the way it comes to be. So.
Right, because again,
different timeline, the same timeline, or changing it. What does it matter?
Yeah, it's the point is they can't they contradict each other, so something has to change. And the theory that works out, I don't think you could say, oh, the first one's happened and then the second one's happened. The second one, the modern ones have to happen first for this to make sense.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying in this theory, which is the same as your theory, right? The prequel movies, these are prequel movies. The modern movies, the prequels, they're building up towards the original film, and we're seeing how the Planet of the Apes came to be, and then we're gonna jump to Planet of the Apes, the original, Charlton Heston, and then Cornelius and Zira are gonna go back. They're gonna have Zira, and they're gonna actually change the way that the Planet of the Apes came to be.
Okay, so I've wasted my time. Someone else has already figured this out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is just now. It's not foolproof. Like, it's still, they're sending the they can still send the ship, and they do mention the ship. Oh yeah, I know, you're right, because they mentioned the ship in the 2011 movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that they talk about the Icarus being sent.
Yeah.
So it has been sent. So
yeah, now that's a contradiction.
They're thinking pretty good. They're thinking pretty hard ahead of it.
Yeah, they changed the timeline though, because the Icarus was not. I don't think it was like, oh, in 1973 we sent this thing, or 1972 we sent this thing. I think it was indicating that it was closer to that timeline, which wouldn't make sense. But I'm not sure they got that deep into it either. It would have been cool if it was like, the 50th anniversary or something of.
They're doing. I mean, I appreciate the fact that the guys in this movie are making some, putting the guys doing the modern movie are making some references to the original, and it seems like they're trying to fit it in. I assume that, or we're just they don't give a crap. They're just doing whatever they want, and we're seeing stuff that's not there. But but it seems like they are sort of, weaving in, or at least respecting the original, and to making a way that it could happen.
See, I always thought from the original movie, forget the modern ones at all. From the original ones, I always thought that the fifth movie left it as an open question. It's like, is this going to lead to that? And I think that, they were trying, there was some social commentary and stuff. It's like, oh, do we have to go to this horrible end, or might we, have changed that, might we have improved?
Well, the suggestion is that it's already been changed, right? Because you've got humans and apes all sitting together, and they're being taught by an ape. They're being taught history by an ape, right? Is that really, like, that was the suggestion to me, that somehow it had been, they've gone back and they've changed.
I think that was what they were angling for, but you could also say, well, yeah, that happened, and the lawgiver did all this, and then in the intervening 1,200 years, something happened where
went wrong. Yes,
but it doesn't explain at that point. 600 years in the future, humans are still intelligent, coexisting with apes for 600 years, roughly, right?
Right.
And there is no apparent degradation of humans, so there would have to be an event at that point forward where something bad happens. And again, so now this is overwritten. We now have 600 years in the future, which is ahead of the original. Well, I'm saying original timeline, which meaning the modern movies, because we're 300 years in the future, and where the humans are already degraded. And so that didn't happen in the original movie timeline at 600 years in the future. That it hasn't occurred. So,
but the suggestion is that it's already a different timeline in those 5 movies. It could be.
Yes. Right? Yes. Right. It certainly leaves open.
It's already been changed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And so I'm just resolving that, so that you're right, that the fifth movie leaves it open that maybe you're not heading to the future where Taylor arrived. Anymore.
So that it could be looked that way. And then these simple modern movies are simply just them going back and saying, hey, we're going to talk about the way that, what happened in order to lead up to the 1968 movie, right, so that you could go back in time and change this. You could say that.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they had in mind the whole time.
Could be. I just want to Weatherman's comment here. Creating Forbidden Zone with nuclear fallout. I'm not sure there's nuclear fallout in the Forbidden Zone. Remember
well, we do know that
the humans have the ability to fake fire and all that stuff. They've made the Forbidden Zone. The apes have called it the Forbidden Zone. Don't go there for whatever reason. But the humans have, with their mental powers, have scared the apes. There might be nothing wrong with that, other than it's kind of dead. And remember Taylor and the rest of them come through it, and they don't seem to suffer any ill effects. Of course, they're only there for a couple of days. Well, it's a couple weeks, a week or a couple months at the end. Taylor doesn't seem to be, sick from going through that area.
Yeah, we do know that the soil.
We don't know, but
we know the soil is sterilized, though. There's no life, at least where they landed. But then they get out and
where they landed. But so we don't know. That could be too much salt. It could be, whatever. We don't specifically know that it's because of nuclear.
Yeah,
but there could be there could have been a small nuclear bombs dropped. It wouldn't have to be, a whole.
Well, and in the modern timeline, that certainly could happen.
Yeah, and there is a suggestion that it does happen because humans are fighting humans, and they're using advanced weapons in War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
that's what this article is suggesting.
Yeah. And right. So, right. So I don't know. I think it's kind of neat that they can merge in some ways, and I like the idea that it's the things that they do are having an effect on the world. Like I said, butterfly effect and all that. So time travel stories are always questionable.
It's usually a stupid way of trying to cover things up, but it can be done well.
But I like the idea that the original movie was based on a modern movie is kind of cool because it's like, oh, it's a conundrum. You know, how could that be? It's like, well, that's what time loops are. You know what I mean?
It says that it was exposed to a huge explosion that sterilized the land. I don't remember that from watching the movie. They just where was that from, Weatherman? I remember, like, you know, we just watched Planet of the Apes. They go and they go, oh, the soil, it's dead, but they don't say. I mean, you know, if you go in the desert, the soil is dead as well, right? So, escape from the Planet of the Apes. Cornelius mentions about the future, about the ape that said no and led the revolution, but it was Aldo, not Caesar, I believe. The change was the birth of Caesar. Like you said, the humans said no, but there's a point where
there is
apes. The apes say no in the
fourth movie, I think, right?
The fourth movie when they revolt, when the apes revolt.
Well,
they say no. And the first ape says no, and
it can't be Aldo though. Aldo's not in that movie, is he?
In the book, maybe. Yeah.
Anyway,
the apes say no, but then in battle, right? Because the humans are subject, they say no. They ate the apes.
Well, yes, I know in the fourth movie they make a big point of the humans saying no to the apes. You know,
the fourth movie.
Yeah, because when they're slaves, you know, it's like no, you know, they're yelling at them all the time. You know, like no, you've done this wrong, or whatever. But I think they make a point that Caesar's soon-to-be wife is the only other ape that talks, I think, other than Caesar, in the fourth movie. I think.
Isn't it the apes say no and that starts the rebellion? The apes say no to the humans and that starts them revolt from the humans.
Well, I mean,
and then the humans become the humans become subjugated afterwards. Right?
Yes, that's definitely true. Maybe I'm not remembering. Let me look quickly.
No, I mean, you know, I read it too. There is a point where the humans say no as well, but I thought that the apes first say no.
I mean, again, they do by revolting. I don't know if they actually say it though, because I don't remember them talking. I just remember Caesar and then his wife talking. I'm searching.
This is the plot of Battle for the Planet of the Apes. So the fifth of the last of the original movies. After confusing followers of Aldo who attacked a human teacher, Abe, for saying no.
Yeah, that's the fifth movie.
Caesar wonders his parents could have taught him how to make things better. So,
yeah, it's only Caesar and Lisa that speak in the fourth movie. And she does say no though. It says she speaks only once at the very end, saying no to stop the apes from killing the humans. So she's the first ape to speak other than Caesar. But yeah, you're right. You're right. There's a human teacher who says no, you know, and it's like, oh crap, you know, because it's like they've been, you know, it's like you don't say no to apes anymore. You know?
Yeah. Very the slavery thing.
Right. Okay. So maybe not original. That was just my thoughts though, after delving into this a little bit.
Well, great minds think alike, right?
They don't.
Fools seldom differ.
Please don't say that I'm like Screen Rant.
One of the two. Yeah. So that's a good. I mean, that's an interesting theory throwing out, and it kind of fits. I'm curious. I'd be curious to talk to the writers, directors, and see if this is true, or if people, were just making it up, or they're actually like, we're trying to make it fit as much as possible.
I'm sure they had that in mind, something in mind. You know, it's like it doesn't seem like they're just stumbling into this. You know.
Yeah, it does seem like it's a little bit. It'd be hard to just.
Okay, Q2 Cat, a madman saying that that Cornelius mentions Aldo as the ape that said no.
Yeah, nuclear. I mean, it could, like I said, it could be nuclear. It could be, who knows?
But
the apes, the apes wouldn't know because it's 1,200 years in the past, and they're living in a somewhat not quite medieval, but let's say 1500, like just discovering Renaissance, just discovering science type society. I think it's kind of interesting here. Like Look at gorilla versus gorilla, right? Interesting, the different. Anyway,
I'm looking up to see if there was an Aldo in any of them in the modern ones. Because by my theory,
I don't
it would
think
have been
they've got that far yet. Really, maybe not.
there would have been. There would that okay? No, it says no. So if for my theory to fit what Madman's talking about there, if in Cornelius's history, if there was an Aldo that said that, it would have had to been somewhere in the modern movie timeline. But it could also be in the future of this, I suppose. But nah, it wouldn't. It would be back farther. So now Caesar,
because
it's Caesar.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. The humans are basically already are completely regressed in the kingdom, right? In the kingdom.
I believe so. Well, most of them.
2300.
Yeah.
Let me just giving you a quick synopsis of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It says here, 300 years after Caesar's death, apes are dominant, establishing clans. Humans have become feral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right, because that's the disease that came about in the third movie of the modern ones.
Yeah. So we're already in a situation there. Yeah. All right. Interesting theory crafting, eh? Okay, good. Anything else? Anybody got anything else in the chat want to mention about? I think we. I think you have to wait. I believe they're working on another movie. I think Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes did well enough. Let me just do a quick check. Ooh. It made $397 at the box office million, slightly under 400 million, and it was 120 to 160 million to make. Double that for marketing and all that other stuff, and it still made money. So I would guess that they would be looking to make another one. Well, it's pretty far between War and this one, though. That's 7 years. But, these movies, at least 3 years usually. I wonder.
Well, it's kind of refreshing to see someone who's not just stomping all over an IP, even though it's clearly different.
Yeah, they're following. They're somewhat true to at least the idea of the IP, and they're not throwing in a bunch of, DEI woke BS, trying to make a movie, towards the following the at least the spirit of the original IP, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Follow-up is reported to be released in 2027. Oh, all right. I hadn't looked that far yet. Yeah, that's pretty good. So, that makes more sense. 3 years, that's the average time. I'm surprised I waited 7, but, there was a pandemic in there and stuff. And who knows what was going on. Yeah. So I'm curious if that will be the final, if they will try to bookend it or end it off like Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Will there be some sort of lawgiver giving information or something? That might be interesting. See what they try to do with that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The acting has been. What are your thoughts of the modern movies, Cam? The ones you've seen?
I thought they're pretty good. From the ones I've seen at least.
Yeah, the acting. It's Andy Serkis who's doing the Caesar, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty good. And the apes being done in the movies are, they're quite well done. I think. It's CGI, but that would be the modern version of what they did in the originals. They've got the movements down and they're really focused on that. So I think that they've done a pretty good job overall. Visual effects are pretty good with the with the animals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some pretty big It wasn't Woody Harrelson, the general in the or the colonel or something in the War of the Planet of the Apes. It's pretty mean and nasty. They've got some pretty good actors going in there who are okay to do. Yeah, I'm okay to be the bad guy. And it's just, I mean, I haven't seen Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, but William H. Macy is in it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the productions are good. I mean, in terms of, I mean, overall in the time frame that these have come out, I'd say they're above average for sure.
Above average for whatever. What else has been going on.
Movies in general.
Yeah, I was a little, I've been a little reluctant to see them just because, I mean, what's wrong with the originals and another remake? What for? But I have seen, I did see the James Franco, the first one, and I did see Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This was quite a while ago, probably 10 years. So I don't remember, but I haven't really seen War of the Planet of the Apes, though I've heard about it and seen clips and all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I still like the originals. Still like the. Like I said, particularly I like the second one because of the that whole worshiping the bomb, these crazy nut bars, and I think they should have done the original with I think that sending the other guy to find out Taylor. I mean, I don't know, but I believe it's probably Charlton Heston probably said, no, I'm not going to do another of these movies where I got to run around in a loincloth for the whole movie.
Yeah,
you're not paying me enough for that. Screw that. So they said, oh, what are we going to do? Okay, well, we'll send this other guy. Maybe we can hire Charlton Heston for the last 10 minutes of the movie. He'll come out and say something, I've been captured or whatever. Thanks for coming and saving me. But we can do the movie without him mainly. And,
and then he destroys the world.
Bitching and moaning. And then we'll kill him off or something,
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, sure. You're going to pay me my rate and I only have to do 10 minutes of the movie. I'm in.
Well, I think I mentioned on the other one that I had one of those, those record comic, like a comic book with a record in it, like a audio record. And the first one I got was Beneath the Planet of the Apes. And it was freaky. It was weird when I was a kid. It was like, oh, I can't believe this is for kids, but I still got it.
Yeah, I still like that one. The reveal, they take off their faces. You're like, oh, yeah, gross.
Yes, exactly.
And they are, and I didn't really see that. It's funny, but and I thought it was very, very 70s, very the idea of them worshiping this bomb and it's going to save them, so to speak. But it's a doomsday weapon. It destroys the entire planet. It's that whole, it's the all or nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't do nothing to you except this. That was a whole, that's kind of the theme of the whole mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
The time frame. So you can see why they put it in there. But good, interesting technology. I've never seen the TV series though. And it's a little bit. I understand that. What's his name here? Who plays Cornelius is who is it?
Roddy McDowall.
Yeah. It's a little bit, he plays Caesar later on, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit confusing.
I think he also plays Galen in the TV show.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good actor. But it's like, that guy seems, I mean, it's his son, right? But you're like, it's still a little bit, it's not the same guy. What's going on? Wait a second.
Works for me.
So, yeah, imagine Heston was pissed that he had to run around in a loincloth for the vast majority of the movie. Jeez, I'm freezing.
Yep.
Of course, everybody else had to get in all this makeup, so maybe it's not the.
Yeah, they were all dying of heat frustration.
Yeah, heat stroke and, how many hours in the makeup chair to get all this stuff on them, right?
Right.
All you got to do is put a towel around you. Heston, don't stop complaining. Yeah, but I'm naked all the time.
Yep.
Might have been a tough shoot.
Maybe. All right. We got it. Is that it?
Okay, we're good. Yeah. Jeez. It's 1:44. We've been almost 2 hours. Okay, so shall we sum up with what's coming up. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, if anybody missed it. We got Babylon 5 coming up on Wednesday. What episode is that? Are we on episode 3 now?
Mm-hmm.
A Day in the Strife. Yes, I watched it. A Day in the Strife. It's supposed to prove that I was wrong about everything when I said about Jakar last episode. I don't think that's necessarily true, but you can beat that with a stick on Wednesday. And next week, you're happy, Cam, we're going to do movie night.
Sure, and we're doing Battle Beyond.
We've got 2 movies, Battle Beyond the Stars and Forbidden World, both Roger Corman. Battle Beyond the Stars is the Corman Star Wars ripoff, and Forbidden World is a different one, but it's got boobies. Apparently, I haven't seen it yet. So come and vote. Battle Beyond the Stars is winning. Come and vote. We have 6 days left on the vote, but that's too many. I'm going to shut it down on Wednesday. So whoever by the Babylon 5 episode, whatever's winning, that's the one we're going to do. Don't be sad. We'll probably watch the other one later, but whatever one we do now is that one. So so Battle Beyond the Stars or Forbidden World. So that's next week on the program, and after that, we're going to be into the time of the Christmas, deep into it, the 28th of December. And what did we say we're going to do for that, Cam? We're going to do basically year-end show. So you gotta put on your thinking cap, Cam. What are some of the best sci-fi media that came out during this year? Whether it be games or video, TV, whatever. Some of the best that you think, and what I think too. And hey, what about the chat too? Of course, we want to hear yours as well. Yeah.
Madman, what do you got on your show on Monday? Let us know in the chat.
Yeah. Let us know in the chat. I'll yell it out. And then and of course later on the show we will next month in January we're going to be looking at not sure what order we're going to do it. It depends on what will happen. The DCAU, talking about some of those videos and the movies. And Cam and I will probably talk about 3 of them on a show, and we'll divide them up, do 3 and 3, and we'll probably focus on some of the more standalone movies first, and then we'll get towards the Justice League ones, which kind of all fit together in a bit of a... I mean, they all kind of fit together, to be honest. But, I was watching Batman Hush, and they're talking about how Lex Luthor is now a member of the Justice League, and Batman goes, provisional, don't call us, we'll call you, because he did something in a movie to help them out. So but we'll generally focus on the standalone ones and maybe get into the thing. And after the show I'll jump into Discord for a little bit, for sure. I always like to do that. So that's what's going on. I remind everyone, Outpost Nerd is going to be Day in the Strife. He's going to be our guest panelist. Welcome, Outpost Nerd. And listen, anybody else, if you want to be a guest panelist on the show, just let us know. Give me or Cam on X or in Discord or whatever email. Say, hey, all you got to do is come in and be willing to talk. That's all. Got to have a microphone. That's it. And you can, give your thoughts. And and I will hint that even though I'm not supposed to, something big might be coming up on the channel. Something that might be of very big interest. Probably won't know till after Christmas. We'll find out, and then we'll announce it and let it go and build it up and stuff, hopefully. But I'm fingers crossed. I really want it to happen. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to make it happen. I think the chat will be happy with it when they see it. All right. Did I miss anything? Madman Show. He's talking about on Monday the ever-rising price of streaming apps. Yes, I hate that. The return of sexy Lara Croft too. Yeah. I'll probably be on Madman's Show, and I'll have my I say, I mean, price is going up. I hate that, of course, all the time. Nobody likes that. But I have some thoughts on sexy Laura Croft. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, but girls who are very athletic, they can't be so top heavy. I mean, I don't mind if she's not, like the video game. Jeez, I mean, it's out of control. But hey, whatever. I don't care that much. But anyway, we'll talk about that. Yeah. Yeah. What did I miss, Cam?
Nothing.
Do you know what Jason's doing on his show?
I do.
What are you doing on next week on the Bad News Bards?
I think we're doing session 0.
Session 0?
Yeah, where we'll be talking about basically our beginning. Yeah, good night, mother. Our origins as role players.
So why I should watch the show? Because of your
because you love us.
Yeah, but I'll finally know why I should watch the show, because you guys are knowledgeable about what you're talking about.
Yeah, we kind of jumped into it, with 3 interviews in a row here. So we're gonna go back to the beginning a little bit, go back to 0, and kind of give a little background on what the show is about, and things like that.
Right on. All right. And I don't know what Jason's doing on his show tomorrow, but yeah, we'll find out. I'll tweet it out on X. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Did I miss anything? I don't think I missed anything.
Check out the shorts daily.
Yes, Cam loves the shorts. We want to get them done. You're gonna do them all, right, Cam? We only got another week to go, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Up to the 25th. That's it.
No, 24th actually. 24th is the last day.
24th? Oh no, 25th. Just the 24th. That's, of course, makes sense. So another week or so, and then a little bit, and then we'll that'll be good. I hope you guys are enjoying the shorts. Put a little hey, on your way out there, weatherman, give us a like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, something like that. It helps us with the channel, helps us out getting out to other people. We want to get out to other people. We think we have a pretty good, between this and the Babylon 5 show, I think we have a pretty good show usually, and maybe more people would want to watch if they knew about it. But hey, we're fighting the algorithm at the bottom of the low end here. Hard to get noticed. So yeah, if you can help us get noticed, we would appreciate it. Anyone tweeting the show, pass it along, putting it anywhere, and hey, if there's a space where I should be posting stuff up that I'm not, I don't know, somewhere on the bowels of Reddit, or I don't know, where science fiction snobs hang out that I don't know about, yeah, let me know, and I'll try to go there and see what I can do. All right. Okay, that's it.
Yep.
Okay, that's the end of the show. Thanks everybody for coming. But wait, I forgot something. What?
Oh, God.
Oh, almost. The good thing. Where's Jeff? Where are you? Jeff's not here to remind me. Oh, he took off. All right. He was here at the beginning. All right. Well, I still remembered, even without him, we had to have jokes. Right? You almost Were you gonna let me get out without the jokes?
Yes.
Cam.
Could you please
all right. Okay, let's save that one. That was a good one. We'll save it to the end. Cam, do you know what you call an ape that's a great singer?
No. What do you call an ape that's a great singer?
An orangutaner. Orangutaner, get it? Like tenor? Well,
why did you say orangutan then?
I don't know. That's what it says.
Okay, next.
Oh, too bad.
I'm gonna kill you.
All right. How did the ape feel after finishing a workout?
I don't know. How did the ape feel after finishing a workout?
He felt absolutely exhausted. Get it?
Next.
Oh. What do you call a big ape that likes to barbecue?
I don't know. What do you call a big ape that likes to barbecue?
Grilla.
Okay.
Grilla, like grill. Grilla.
Sure. Thanks, everybody.
What do you wait? 2 more. What do you call a fight between 2 ape tribes?
I don't know what do you call a fight between two ape tribes.
Guerrilla warfare. Come on, Cam.
That's a good one.
Easy one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay.
Come on.
All right, number 5.
No, one more. This is the best one. What's the difference between monkeys and apes?
What's the difference between monkeys and apes? I don't know.
You don't know this, Cam? Come on. Monkeys are better at telling stories because they have tails. See, it's great. The audience loved it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good night, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you on Wednesday for Babylon 5.
Thanks,
Good night.
everybody.
Thanks, JT.